Okay, now we're going to unwrap the chest here. And normally I would tell you that this being several objects, you would attach them all together so that you could have individual things. And it really depends on how your game engine is taking care of everything. Because if your game engine has the ability to work with parts or work with holes, it really depends on all that. And normally I would tell you to unwrap this individually, but for a game engine, generally you do one object as a whole. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the Modify tab here and drop down Modify List, and we're going to go to the Unwrap. Unwrap UVW. And what that does is basically creates, if you notice there's no object level under here. And what that does is basically unwraps everything as one object. Okay, now I'm moving this over to the side right now, and I'm going to go to the material editor. Now my material editor is set to the old school. I just tend to like this more. If you go into compact material editor or slate material editor, I'm in the compact one, I believe it is. And that's just, it's what I personally prefer. So the way the compact works is you've got your basic properties here, and then you got extended, you've got your maps here, and I'll go through that down the road. But for now, all we're going to do is we are going to go into the basic properties. We're going to go into diffuse, and there's a box next to diffuse. And you're going to check that box, and it's going to bring up another window here. And we're just going to choose checkerboard. And with checkerboard, what we're going to do is I'm just going to do tiling like 10 by 10. And then we're just going to apply to selection. Okay. And now your object should turn gray, and then I'm going to show shaded in viewport here. So there is basically our object level as a whole. Now we're done with this for now. I'll get back to this later when we're actually texturing it. But what we're going to do is we're going to open the UV editor down here, and it'll bring up a window like so. And I'm just going to move this so we can see. Now bring up a window like so, and then you've got your vertex, you've got your edge, and you've got your polygon. We're going to go into polygon, and we're going to uncheck, make sure nothing's selected. You're going to go to mapping, flatten mapping, and it doesn't matter right now. We're just going to flatten everything. Okay, I'm going to uncheck this so you can see kind of what's going on. Alright, so this is our treasure chest, all unwrapped and taken care of. Okay, now there are certain parts that you can automatically see, and if you check this box here, this, for instance, this is our gold, so we're just going to move this out. We're going to say that one's done. Let's go here. This one right now is our spider web, and we're just going to grab that one and move that one out. And then there's one more spider web in there. We're just going to grab that one and move that one out. So that is essentially what our, this is essentially just the chest. Now we've got two pieces of the chest, of course, so I'm going to uncheck this box, and we're going to go into edge mode, and I'm going to go into this edge mode here, and all I'm going to do is you can right click and you can stitch selected, and what that does is basically puts in, and we're just going to stitch selected, and if you want, you can continue doing this throughout the whole thing here. You can use these buttons as well, stitch to target, so if you do that, it's going to move over to that. If you move this one, it'll stitch average, and then if you stitch to source, like so, or you can use stitch custom. Okay. Now, as we do this, you want to pick your flat areas, and we're just going to stitch customs here, and I'm just kind of unwrapping the box. It's nothing now if you notice, this side over here is reaching up with this side over here, so on and so forth. When you've got like your sections, okay, as you can see, I'm starting to get some of these sections in here. What I do is I tend to just go through and I've set up a hotkey. Shift S was always a good one. So I've set up a hotkey where I can actually go in and stitch the edges now. So I'm just going in and stitching edges here. We're going to just go here. And what this does basically is, actually, you know what? I didn't like that. So I'm going to do this. I'll show you this for a reason why I didn't like that. Okay, so let's go in here, and I'm going to just select all this real quick, and I'm going to go into face level first, mapping, flatten mapping again, say OK, and it's just going to flatten it again so I can see where everything is. Then what I want to do is I'm going to grab the wooden pieces, which I'm not going to stitch. So like this is the interiors. I'm not actually stitching those. So we're just going to grab these and pull these out. And I'll show you what I'm going to do in a second here. So, okay, there's the bottom. And then you can go in here. That's the bottom piece here. So there's the four bottom pieces like so. Then if you want, we can actually go in and grab the inside here. I'm going to just go to edge mode here, unselect, and then we're just going to stitch this one, this one here, this one, and this one. Okay, so we've got the inside here now, like so, and I'm going to just go grab, let's grab this one here. So this is our inside pieces here. I'm just going to grab this real quick. Oops. And I'm just going to grab this one over here. This is the inside of my lid. So I'm going to just stitch this together. Alright, like so. And then we've got all these bits and pieces here. So I'm going to go grab, let's go back to face mode, and I'm going to grab these. I'm going to just move these out. So there's this one, and you can kind of select back and forth of your objects. And let's grab this final one here. Okay, so now this, once this is all done, this is all my framing. Okay, so this is all the outer sides, and that's also my hinges. I'm going to just grab my hinges here real quick, and I'm just going to go into edge mode and use my stitch hotkey. If you want to do a hotkey for stitch, go to customize user interface, and then from the main UI, you want to scroll down to Unwrap UV, and then it's stitch. Let's see here. ST. Nope, it doesn't work there. Let's go back to main UI. And then go to all commands. And let's go to, let's see what we can find the stitch here. There's a lot of commands, in case you haven't noticed. Stretch, stitch. So just select this one, put your hotkey information, assign it, and save it, and then you can do the stitching. You know, I find hotkeys to be just time savers. So now when you click on this, you see this one here. Basically, this means it'll wrap over itself. We don't want to do that with this particular one yet. You can, but it's not that big a deal. And then I'm going to just grab this one here and find out where that one is. And let's just stitch. So that one's done. So there's those hinges. We can actually go in and grab one of the edges here and stitch the edges, and then select the object as a whole and just move it off to the side here. And let's grab this one too and just move it off to the side. And let's go, and I'm just going to go grab real quick, stitch the middle one like so. Okay, so there's that. So now the rest of these pieces are all the bits and pieces that I need. So what we can do is we can actually go in here and start by stitching. You're going to stitch that, and you're going to, oops, not the inside. So we're going to stitch the inside here, and then I'm just grabbing pieces and I'm stitching, so like that. And then you're also going to see the stitch on the inside here. Now, when you notice this, the stitch overlaps, and I'll show you, I'll zoom up in there as soon as I'm done. So the stitch overlaps. As you can see, this piece overlaps here. Now, if I stitch these two together, you're going to get a stretching. So you always want to kind of average this out. And then look at your, let's just kind of move this equal on both sides. So it's going to stretch here a little bit. Let's see where this bad boy is. Okay, this one looks like it's right here. So as you can see, it starts stretching a little bit here, but it's really not enough to notice. I mean, if you want, you can actually undo that and just leave them overlapped here. And you'll get your kind of crease. I mean, on the bottom it's not that big a deal, but we can undo this and do it like so. And now if you notice, these are straight here. Okay, and it's pretty much just go back in and find the areas and stitch them all the way through. So we can go like so. Now, one of the issues that you might have is because these are overlapping, you're going to get this weird, like if you have marks going this way and then you want to have a mark going this way, that's where you're going to run into problems. So that's basically kind of the bad point about that aspect of stitching. So and then this, you don't want to stitch over here because that would stretch too much. So we're just going to keep going and stitch kind of around like so. I now decide in a second here what I want to do with that edge, those edges. So all I'm doing is I'm just kind of going in there and stitching like so. Now if you move one, you're going to change that UV, so you want to undo the move first. Okay, and let's stitch this one here. Stitch this. This looks like our lid here. And undo. Let's undo that. Okay, so now if you notice, let's see here, we've got these stripes here. So what we're going to do is, sometimes it's just easier just to, okay, so now these are the interior ones. And this one is the interior like so. So let's just stitch all these together. And again, I keep forgetting that's the inside one, but we just go through here. And you want the majority of these to be nice and square. because if it stretches, if it's not square here, what's going to happen is it's going to stretch your map accordingly, and stretching is bad. Okay, so looks like I need, let's go here. Okay, so that's done. We need to add this one in there. Let's do the inside real quick. Like so. And then it looks like I am pretty much, let's stitch this one in there. I keep forgetting that's the inside. That looks all good. Alright, so it looks like these are done now, and I'm just going to grab these out, and I'm just going to move them up here for now, just out of the way. They're not done because I think I'm going to go in and stitch this stuff together so you can get your seams in there. Let's try. I just would take this one, and if you hold shift down you can actually move it on the axis there. And let's grab the edge here and stitch that. And this is where it kind of gets tedious, and you just kind of want to kind of go in there and like so. Okay, so I think this is the way I'm going to have it done here. So let's see if we can stitch that like so, and we can kind of line that up. Now we don't have to do this manually. There are you can space. There's tools in here where you can align horizontal. So I'll show you this one. So if we take this one and we'll just stitch this one, and then we'll grab this one and oops, not this one and this one, and let's align horizontal. That puts it down like so, and we can always just move them. And let's stitch this one here, and we can grab here, and again you can align. If you want to move, you can just hold shift down and move it if you want a little bit more space in there. So let's grab this one and this one, and we can align, oops, not horizontal, align vertical, and again just kind of get that average going out there. And sometimes it's easier to kind of manipulate. Like so. So, and this is the kind of the tedious part, to get this all lined up. But I'll do this off camera, and I'll just line those things up. But then we have our skull left to basically stitch together here. So let's just do this real quick. And I'm going to just kind of grab some of this stuff here. And it looks like this is the loop of the skull here. And let's grab and stitch this one. Make sure you stitch all the pieces together. Now, say you've decided, okay, let's stitch this here, stitch this here. Say you've decided that you're okay with a little bit of stretching. So so this is the inside of the box. This is the bottom of the lock here, and let's add that in there. Let's add that, and say you've decided, okay, well, let's add this here, and that's the inside. Now this would connect, so that one's done. And then let's grab these here. They're very long. I don't think I like those in there, so I think I'm going to just grab it and stitch this here. And this is a little bit harder to paint, but in the end it'll be easier, so nothing overlaps and I don't have to deal with all that stuff. Now, if you always find that you don't like something stitched together, you can always break that apart by going into detach edge verts, and that'll detach that like so, and then you can just stitch again. And I think detach is the D hotkey. And if detach doesn't work, you can always break. So let's stitch that together. And detach edge verts. Alright, so as you can see, I'm just, okay, that works there. And that works. So that's pretty decent. You know, so we can kind of lay that out. Alright, so I'm gonna go in and fix this stuff here, and then what we're gonna do is I'll come back and then I'll show you how to pack this stuff so that we can get the most bang for our buck. Alright?